Hello, everyone. It is Ashley with Court Reserve. We are so excited for our Spark webinar today. Um, it's another great day in Florida, and hopefully, it's another great day at your house. And we've got our excellent onboarding. Hope from Onboarding's here today to talk to us and teach us something new. And then Michelle from our product team, she's going to be on the Q&A in the chat. So don't forget, use the Q&A if you have those questions, and we will work through those as we go through. This will be recorded, put up on YouTube. And don't forget, our second, actually, Catalyst of the Year is coming up in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be in Columbus, Ohio, day and a half. Every single one of these is a day and a half. The first half day is like best practices, roundtables. How do you do this? How do you handle this? And then the next day is a full day of Court Reserve teaching. Our team does such a great job, and we hope that you get signed up quickly because it is coming up in the next couple of weeks in Columbus, Ohio. And then we're going to be in Detroit, Denver, and Toronto for all of our Northern fans. So, and then don't forget as well, our next club pickleball mastermind is coming up in June. It is an absolutely beautiful time to go to Utah. Anyways, go fly fishing in the Provo River. You will not be disappointed. It's excellent, and you'll learn so much about being in the pickleball business from Devin. I wanted to call your attention to a couple of upcoming webinars. Next week, it's going to be What's New in Court Reserve. You should see the amount of stuff that you probably don't even realize that we have put in the Court Reserve platform. So that is our Spark webinar. It's next week. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about our new integration with PlaySite, which is AI and court video recording for any kind of club or facility. And then at the end of April, it's something new that we're doing. It's called Courtside Conversations. The first one was a few weeks ago. We did it on summer camps. And the next one coming up on April 28th is all about public facility best practices. And we've got a couple of star Court Reserve clients and admins that are going to be answering all the questions and kind of talking to you through about if you're a public facility. And it's just going to be fantastic. And it was, we ran out of time last week when we did the first one on summer camps. So I'm so excited to hear all about what you're going to talk about today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to talk about some effortless guest management. It's going to be really
Yes,
fun. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and hopefully everything looks good. Ashley, can you just confirm everything looks good there?
amazing.
Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to be talking about today is just how to utilize the guest functionality within Court Reserve. Before we dive in, I want to talk to you about what that means. So guest in Court Reserve is when you have members at your facility and you allow them to bring their friends or family without having to create an account for them as well. So we have two different booking options where you can add guest and enable that. I'm going to show you how to enable it, and then we're also going to see how that looks on the member's perspective as well. So the first option where you can add guest is through our court reservations. So we're going to go into settings, and we're going to start in our reservation settings. I have a few reservation settings here, and on each of your individual reservation types, you can enable guests whether you want guests on that reservation type or not. So once we hit the little pencil icon there, we are going to go halfway down the screen where we'll see allow guest, and that is just again referring to anyone where a member can bring someone on the reservation with them. You can ensure that your guests can bring your members can bring guests through the member portal. So when they're booking the courts themselves, they can choose who's coming with them, and you can determine what that guest fee would be. The reservation owner is going to be the one that is paying for that fee, and you can determine whether that is hourly or fixed as well, and what revenue category you want that guest fee to go into as well, and whether you want to tax it. So that is how you enable guests on the reservations through the admin settings there. And then if you want to restrict how many guests they can bring or what memberships can bring guests versus what memberships can't, then we're going to go into booking settings general, where we'll scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and we'll see a loud number of guests. You can choose how many guests and the duration that they are limited to. So we see here I offer 2 memberships. Because I have a non-member membership, I don't want to enable them to have guests that they can bring, but A perk of my membership that I offer is that they can bring 10 guests per month. You can have this limited to day, week, month, or even year if you want as well. So, how the members would be able to add the guests when they are booking the courts, we're going to go into View Member Portal here, and we're going to go into the reservation and book a court as our members would. So, we're going to just select the time that we want, and we would select what reservation type we are doing. It's automatically going to reserve it for the member profile. And then we're going to determine how many guests we can bring. So for my singles reservation, I do have it limited that only 3 people can be on the court at a time. So it's already going to count myself and then tell me that I can bring up to 2 guests. If I was to add another member under additional players, it would then also include that guest and only limit me to 1 guest. And then I would just type in their first, last name, and phone number if I want to. It's going to charge me that guest fee that I've set up for each guest that I'm bringing my grand total to $30. And then I would have that reservation set for me and 2 of my friends as well. So that is how you would enable guests for a reservation. The other area that you can enable guests would be an event. So we're going to pop back to our admin panel and we're going to check out our events. I've already created one before the call, so we're going to just go into my event list and look at that one I've created. So I'm going to click on those 3 dots and update this so I can show you guys the settings that I chose. So you would just set the event up as normal, naming it, picking the category, how many registrants you want, and all of the details for that specific event that you're hosting. And down toward the bottom, most of the time you will see this event setup where you can say, okay, how much is the event paying? Can they register? Things like that. But today we're going to jump over to the guest setup tab. And we're going to select that we do want to allow guests on this event. You can say in the event how many of the slots can be reserved for a guest. And you can also determine again what memberships can bring a guest and which ones can't. So, keeping the same foundation that I have, non-members are not eligible to bring a guest, so I did not check that here. But my members are, so I'm going to say that that membership is allowed to bring guests for this specific event. I can also say what the price would be for the guest that they're bringing and how many each member is able to bring for this event as well. So if we hop over to the member portal just one more time, we're going to go to the member perspective. So on the member perspective, I would go into the list of events that my facility is offering. I would find the event that we just set up. And as a member, I'm able to go in and register myself. So I'm going to select myself here. And then it's going to ask if I want to bring any guests, which I would say yes at this time. And then I would just simply type in their first name, last name, and possibly phone number again if I wanted to. So let's go ahead and add that because I want to show you something cool as well. So once I finalize registration, it's going to go ahead and charge me based off of my registration and my guests that I will be bringing. And if I go back to the admin panel and I'm looking at my expanded scheduler, I can go into the date of the event. So I have this posted for next Monday. I'm going to find the time of the event and we can see here that there is 2 registrants on this event, myself and the guest that I'm bringing. My guest has a parenthesis G letting you or anyone at your facility know that that is not a member, that is just someone that I am bringing with me. Um, so those are how you enable guests and how your members would be able to bring them as well. There's a few other fun things that you can do to ensure that you're collecting all the guest information that you need. And that would be guest waiver kiosk. So really quickly, we are going to go into our settings and I want to tell you just a prerequisite of setting up a guest waiver kiosk is you would actually have to have a waiver in the system. So to add the waiver functionality, you would go into additional features and ensure that it's turned on. And once you have your waivers turned on, it's going to live in 2 places under reservation settings or event settings. So we'll see it here and here. If you click on either one, it takes you to the same place. And so all you would have to do is make sure you're in the waivers and agreement tab and go ahead and create a waiver. We do have a great knowledge-based article on how to create a waiver. If you want more information on that, you can or you can click on the knowledge-based book icon up at the top and just type in the keyword waiver and it should take you there. So once we have the waiver in the system, what we can do is we can go back to our settings and we can go into kiosk here. I have a few kiosks set up, but I'm going to focus on the guest waiver one specifically. So I'm going to just go in and edit and show you the settings that I've set up. So I've named my kiosk. I've created a pin. I would recommend keeping this something super easy so that way anyone who needs to know the pin code at the facility, so all of your front desk staff, if you want your instructors, anyone that needs to know that, something that they can remember there because you will have to input the pin code when you're turning on your kiosk. And then we are going to ensure that we're selecting the kiosk feature of guest waivers here. When we do that, we're going to ensure that we select the correct waiver we want any guest to sign when they're entering the facility. First name and last name are always going to be included and required, and then you get the option of all of this additional information that you get to choose whether you want to include or even require it, such as email, address, phone number, date of birth, gender, all the fun things. And down here at the bottom, you can even create custom questions that we may not include. So here we can see I have emergency contact name, emergency contact number, but you can make this anything that you want to gather from those guests. So how did you hear about us? Have you been here before? Anything like that. You would just put that in the label and then determine whether you want that to be a text box field text area or a drop down. We have this new feature where you can allow public signing. So if you do enable that, you will get an additional link where you can actually email that to the member that is bringing a guest, asking them to have their guest sign the waiver before they even enter the facility. So that's something brand new, very exciting to get that information beforehand. Now, if you want to just capture that information when they're walking in, what you can do is use the kiosk URL here. You would copy that URL, and what we highly recommend is having a separate desktop or a tablet where you can have the kiosk on, because once we open this up, and we put that PIN code in that we created, it's going to bring us to that guest waiver kiosk. However, it will not let us use CourtReserve on the same device unless you're using like an incognito tab or anything. It's going to override with that kiosk until you log out of it. So that is our best practice there, always using that on a incognito website or a separate device if possible. So when we are going back to CourtReserve, there's just a few other things. And Brent, I do see your hand raised. I will take all questions at the end. So if you could put that in the chat for me, we will definitely make sure that we address your questions as well. Just a few more seconds and we'll be there. The last thing that I want to show you guys is going to be how you can access those the signatures from the guest waiver kiosk. So what you would do is you would go into reports and then you can go into the waivers reports here and you can choose to either include the guest waivers with all other waivers that have been signed or look at guest waivers only. And if we run the report, we'll see anyone who signed the guest waiver. So we have a few people here. We can export that to Excel, export that to a PDF if needed. And that is how you would see who signed the waiver via the guest waiver kiosk. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is public bookings. This is really, really exciting. Definitely a way to enhance getting more bookings at your facility. That is how you can, if we go into our settings here, and go into public bookings in portal settings, you can turn this on, and that gives you also access to allow the general public to create a reservation without creating an account as well. We have another webinar that goes into all the details of public bookings. It's a really valuable resource. I would highly recommend checking that out on our YouTube as well. Okay, so that's all the things I wanted to cover with you guys, and we will definitely open it up to some questions.
Hope, the
So,
question that you had, first of all, they said you're doing a great job, very clear, but they were super excited about what you said about the public signing link and just basically asking, so does that mean they can send the link to like a corporate event guests ahead of time for the event to have them sign?
yes, absolutely. That is an excellent case where you would want to use that public signing with the guest waiver kiosk. And thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment.
They said they've been waiting for that one. That's awesome.
Yes, that is a huge new additional feature, and we are very excited about that as well. Any other questions? I know Brent has their hand up. Brent, do you have any questions? QR code. Hmm. Okay, so we don't have a QR code at the moment, but with the URL, you should be able to use a QR code generator where you can put that in with the guest waiver kiosk and ask the QR code generator to make that into a QR code. Absolutely. Any other questions?
We have a question from Jill. Two questions, actually. We have a guest membership type. Is there a way to export the waiver information and create new profiles for the guest within Reserve automatically?
So, for the guest members or for true guests specifically?
Well, in the question, Jill, you ask for your guest membership. Is that what you're wanting it for, or is it for more of what Hope's talking about as a true guest? So they would not have a membership in your system.
And just to kind of dive into that a little bit, so if they are a guest member, where you have a guest membership that you offer and they're already creating an account, they should have a waiver that sticks on their profile. If you are using the waiver functionality through CourtReserve. With True Guest, at this time, we do not have a way to make them a member, but using the restrictions through the booking settings, and I can share my screen really quickly to kind of show where that is. So in the booking settings general, I do definitely recommend limiting how many guests a member can bring. And so that way they can't just bring unlimited amount of guests, and that is kind of incentivizing them to then create a membership for themselves. Especially if you are offering that free membership that they can easily sign up for as well. So hopefully that helped answer your question a little bit more. Um, and if
The
you have any follow-up questions on that, please let us know.
Yeah, Jill's follow-up question, her second question is, if someone signs in advance, is there a way to see that on the admin side?
Signs in advance. Yes, so you would be able to see through the public booking, or not the public booking link, I'm sorry. But if you're sending the waiver to a true guest in advance, you would be able to see that through the waiver report as well. So you could go into that report feature and see that through the waiver report if you're selecting to uh, include guest waivers.
You kind of hinted at one thing you wanted to share is the public booking.
The public booking? I'm sorry, I think I missed that. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, the public booking, the new feature.
Yeah, so the public booking is great. It gives you the ability to create a link that you could put on your website, where if you create the link, you put it on your website, and then people don't have to necessarily create an account to reserve the courts or sign up for an event either.
And I know that on the product team, they're already talking about looking at having guest passes, day passes. They're finishing up promo codes as we speak. So we are listening. We're hearing all of the requests and the feedback that you guys are saying, and we are working on it. So, yay, more to come.
Super exciting things. Okay, any other questions that I can answer for you guys?
Jill was asking Hope. I don't know. I'm sorry. I was kind of reading questions and things. Jill was asking kind of a follow-up if the admin will make the profile for the guest based off of the information provided.
You can, absolutely. If that's the case, and you want to take that information, super easy to do so. All you would have to do is go into the members tab here, add a member, and you could put in their first name, last name, and then even assign them a free member. So in my case, I probably wouldn't sign them up for a paid membership to start. I'd start them off with that non-member when they come in. You can just say, hey, we saw that you're interested. Went ahead and created a free account for you. And if you're loving our facility, we would love to see you maybe join a higher tier membership if you offer that as well.
We did a report yesterday. I don't even know if you know this, Hope, but the clubs that have turned on public booking have made over $300,000 in revenue together since January 1st. So imagine your facility if you needed a couple more guests to get them in the door. So
Yes.
exciting.
I can't say enough. Public booking is a huge advantage for your facility. I would definitely check out our webinar to learn more specifically on public booking. Just want to throw a little carrot out there to get you guys excited about that.
And come to Catalyst and we'll show you all about it. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks, Hope and Michelle. Appreciate you guys today. And don't forget, next week, it's all of what we've pushed out in the last couple of weeks. So head on over to courtreserve.com/webinars and sign up. We'll see you then. Bye, everybody.